We actually cast Saoirse and met with her and gave her, offered her the role of the film before Atonement was finished. We had Joe Wright, the director of Atonement, was very helpful and actually sent us a DVD from the cutting group. He was editing Atonement, and we were in London, and we were meeting with Saoirse and her parents, and Joe Wright sent us a DVD with 2 or 3 of her scenes from Atonement on. The film was still about 6 months away from being released. So it was really, it was very nice of him to allow us to have a little look at Saoirse and his film. But by then, I must confess, we'd already agreed that we were going to offer her the role, and that was just confirming how great she was. We were in Los Angeles, and we were casting in America for the role of Susie Salmon. Now, she's a 14-year-old American character, so we naturally assumed that we would find a young actor somewhere in the States. And we auditioned and maybe had met with about 20 different actors over there. And, there was 1 or 2 interesting people, but we weren't 100% happy, and we didn't think that we could really found Susie yet. And what is actually interesting too, I should throw in an observation, is that because the movie was set in 1973, that was obviously, an important part of how this character should be portrayed. And a lot of the American actors that we had seen, it was just interesting that they were very modern. These 13, 14-year-old girls who were reading for Susie, their speech patterns, the way they performed, the way they moved around, it felt like the Nickelodeon channel or the Disney channel. It sort of felt very, very contemporary, and it was actually difficult to imagine a lot of these girls actually coming from 1973. It was kind of weird. We were sort of starting to get a bit alarmed about the fact that there's a sort of a generic acting style that seems to have been adopted by American teenagers that's very sort of modern and not really suitable to some types of movies. So anyway, we were grappling with all that, and the DVD was sent to us. And it was Saoirse's father, Paul, had filmed Saoirse in their garden in Ireland doing some scenes from our audition script for Susie, and Saoirse's dad filmed her himself with his camera and done a really good job, I have to say. And Saoirse was obviously doing a remarkable job on screen performing these scenes. And we put the DVD on and looked at it, and honestly, and it's not an exaggeration, I mean, at that point in time, we decided that we found Susie. Saoirse was just so wonderful and so powerful in that audition that it was clear to us our search was over, it was finished, we were done. So we were travelling to London a few days later, and we called up and asked if it was possible to meet with Saoirse, and also meet with the mum and dad too, because Saoirse was 13 years old at the time, and we were going to be filming in New Zealand and Pennsylvania, and obviously the subject matter of the book was a concern to us, and we wanted to make sure that if we were asking, a 13-year-old Saoirse to be in this film, that the mother and father were fully aware of everything that we were planning on doing in the film, and obviously we were very open about everything. So we had a wonderful meeting. I mean, Saoirse's got a great on dad, and yeah, that was really, that DVD made it all very, very easy for me. Hitchcock, certainly, some of these scenes in the movie, I was thinking of Hitchcock, particularly the one that we discussed in the Liberty sneaking around. I mean, that's a relatively simple scene, in terms of logistics and, the visuals and things. There's nothing particularly complicated about it, but I enjoyed it because of that, because it meant that the challenge for me was to not be doing anything too distracting or gimmicky. It was just filming shots of Lindsay, filming shots of Mr. Harvey, and how the scene was assembled for maximum tension was definitely something that Hitchcock was an absolute master at that type of scene. And so I was aware that I was walking into some very big shoes with those sorts of scenes, which was great. Because I haven't done a lot of that type of shooting before. I mean, this very simple suspense. It's not something I'm hugely experienced in. But Hitchcock, I mean, my favourite Hitchcock thing really is a quote from him where he said, some people's films are slices of life, mine are slices of cake. And I've always loved that quote because that to me is exactly how I feel. I don't make movies for any particular reason other than to entertain people and, because I'm aware that the primary responsibility that I have as a filmmaker really is to ask an audience to part with, $20 or 20 euros or whatever it is, and to trust us that we're going to deliver a form of entertainment worth that money. We're not going to rip them off or cheat them out of it. I have a sort of responsibility between filmmaker and an audience based on entertainment value, which I do take that quite seriously. And sound, well, just to actually deviate slightly from the sound, because the other aspect of that sequence that you were referring to with Lizzie is some of the shots that I was filming, especially when she's got the floorboard in her fingers and she's trying to lower it back on the floor. I found this amazing little camera called it's called an iconic camera. It's about the size of a matchbox, and it's got a little plastic lens. It's a very cheap camera. And it sort of films on high definition video. And I was so excited about this tiny little camera that I ended up shooting some of the lovely bones on it. So it's not a big film camera, it's just teensy tiny. And I think the actors, particularly Stanley, thought I was completely insane because he was sitting there and I had this little camera in my hand and was sort of putting it near his eyeball and his teeth and his fingers and kind of getting these really wacky shots with it. And I didn't really know whether the camera would hold up when we came to edit the footage and with the 35mm footage. I shot safety shots in a much more boring way with the 35mm cameras. But as it was, we managed to, through post-production in the film lab, we managed to make these digital iconic shots, matching shots quite well. So some of the weird vibe of the shots of Lindsay lowering the floorboard and also other shots elsewhere in the movie of Stanley in the underground room with Saoirse. I use it there occasionally when he's alone in his house. Some of it's due to this funny little camera that I was using. I was quite excited about that. Well, it's an interesting question to talk about. I think it's very, very important with any movie that has fantastical elements that the characters in the film absolutely, utterly believe them to be true. So there's no irony or there's no sense of satire within the film. And the filmmaker has also presented as being very believable as well. So yeah, I mean, it is important if you were asking an audience to go on this escapist ride with you. I mean, it's like a nod and a wink. It's like saying, well, you and I know that there are no such things as orcs or goblins or dragons, but let's just, for the sake of 2 hours of entertainment, let's all of us just believe that it could be true for a while. That kind of contract between the audience and the filmmaker, where it's like you wink at the person and say, let's just believe in this for 2 hours and have a bit of fun. I think that's important, and you've got to try and do that and try to never send it up or satirise that belief. You have to allow it to happen and people feel okay about it. And I guess there's a slightly more technical answer to it as well, because certainly with Lord of the Rings and probably the Lovely Bones, I haven't really thought about it. When you're in King Kong 2, when you're showing fantastical scenes, I often try to film them in a very realistic way. I mean, I know a lot of the fighting in Lord of the Rings I shot with a handheld camera to give it a slightly documentary sort of style. So they're fighting the cave troll and warrior. It's not a feeling of visual effect shots with a locked camera. You're in there with handheld, sort of messy camera work as if you're really trying to follow this action of this big troll, fighting these guys. It's not rehearsed, it's not planned, it's sort of spontaneous. So I do sometimes try to add to the realism by introducing a fake spontaneity into the way we shoot it. If that makes sense.